trying to force Trump to pay up. President Trump is actively rolling back Barack Obama's United Nations commitments, and it is driving the globalists at the UN crazy. They have been scrambling in recent weeks. Between Trump's decision to withdraw the U.S. from the UN-backed Paris Climate Treaty or him promising to pull funding from corrupt UN agencies, those at the UN are starting to see their gravy train leave the station. Trump gave them two options. They could either stop using U.S. tax dollars against America's interests, or they would lose their funding. They chose to keep trying to undermine the United States, so they're losing out. Without American funding, analysts just revealed that the United Nations needs to figure out a way to come up with well over $12 trillion in order to put their climate agenda into action. That is what Barack Obama tried to sign us up for. Of course, the United Nations and European countries are uniting to stop Trump from leaving the agreement. The EU just voted to make the treaty binding and punish any country that tries to leave, proving that what Obama did was unconstitutional from the start. They are pointing to the promises that Barack Obama made in threatening to take the Trump administration to court if they withdraw. No more funding for the United Nations. Send your instant fax blast and force Congress to erase Obama's climate treaty signature and defund the UN entirely. President Trump isn't backing down. News broke this week that he is redirecting the climate treaty funding to help build new state-of-the-art power plants here in the United States. Under Obama's plan, we would have built new power plants in China and India instead. Not anymore. America first. We have just weeks left before Congress must vote on next year's spending bills. The fight to completely defund the United Nations begins right now. Barack Obama made a number of promises to the UN. He promised to implement its radical climate change here at home and to finance its implementation abroad. President Trump has already dismantled the radical executive orders that Obama had signed. Now, the United Nations and European Union are demanding that Trump honor Obama's funding promises. We are demanding that Congress do two things. First, they must void Barack Obama's signature on the Paris Climate Agreement. Yes, what Obama did was unconstitutional. But we cannot afford to wait for a court ruling on that. This is not something that can be trusted to 9 unelected judges in black robes. Under the Constitution, only Congress has the authority to ratify a treaty. A congressional resolution voiding Obama's signature would immediately block the UN from its collection efforts and prevent any future president from signing back onto it without approval from the Senate. Second, we are now calling on Congress to pull the UN's funding entirely. This is way overdue. For too long, the UN has used American tax dollars to finance programs that directly go against our interests. Next month, the UN will convene a conference on gun control, another treaty Obama unconstitutionally signed. They will be using your tax dollars to put that conference on. The only way to ensure that we don't fund radical agendas like this is to pull funding altogether. This is about restoring America's sovereignty that Barack Obama tried so hard to give away. This is about the future of the United States of America. Will we remain independent? Or will we become subservient to the United Nations like Obama intended? Send your instantaneous fax blast and force Congress to erase Obama's climate treaty signature and defund the UN entirely. After Trump withdrew from the UN's Paris Climate Treaty, the truth finally came out. It will take $12 trillion to actually implement the UN's radical climate agenda, and the UN is demanding payment. The president has done everything he can. He has honored his promise to withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement, but now he needs Congress' help to finish this. He needs your help convincing them. Enough is enough. It's time to pull the rug out from under the United Nations and restore American sovereignty once and for all. Please, join the fight. Pull the plug on the globalists. Send your instantaneous fax blast and demand that Congress erase Obama's climate treaty signature and defund the